Did you know that according to PNC Bank, 67% of US workers report living paycheck to paycheck? According to a economic well-being study by the Federal Reserve, 37% of US households actually don't even have $400 for an emergency expense. And this is what was staggering to me. 2.4 marriages, out of every 2.4 marriages, one of them ends up in divorce. Biggest reason is because of finances. Welcome to Pillay Place. Hi everybody, welcome to the Pillay Place. We're going to be talking about faith, family, and finance. But I'm Rahul, and this is my wife Van. And today we'll be talking about finances. This is episode 8, and I know finances impacts us every single day. It's a big part of our lives, and it certainly is a big part of our family and our home, right? And we've come a long way with finances. And just for a little bit of background, I am in finance myself. I work in investments. I've been doing this for over 10 plus years, and I help a lot of very wealthy people manage their money. Actually, we invested for them in real estate. So that's my experience with finance. But I've come from nothing. We had nothing at one point.
We had negative.
We had negative. Yeah, we had negative. It was hilarious because when Van and I got married, I had student debt. And then she married me. I had a lot more student debt, and we didn't have any money in our bank.
You inherited my debt.
I inherited all the debt. She inherited a little bit of mine. I inherited a lot of hers. and I remember we didn't have a lot of money.
No.
We just had a dream.
We had nothing. And then we also credit card our wedding.
Yeah, we wouldn't recommend it. But yes, we credit carded our wedding. But thank God all of that is paid.
If you want to learn on what not to do, I think we have some tips on what not to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how?
But you know what's so awesome is that money has never been an issue for us, even when we were struggling. Like it was never something that we argued about or
why is
fought
that?
over.
There's a big reason for that. Why is that?
I think that's what we're talking about today.
Yeah. Yeah, I think first and foremost, when we approach our finances, we approach it with unity.
Yes.
Right? And what do I mean by that? I think, and Van will say more, because in unity, there's a role, right? When there's more than one person, there's a role. In unity with God, God has a role in that unity. And you as a human as a child of God have a role in that. In our family finances, we have a role, right? So I'll let you speak on that.
Well, I think our attitude about money is that it is us against the financial issue.
It's
never it's your fault, and you overspend. You should not have bought that. And it's never the blame. It's like, hey, it's me and you against this problem.
Yeah, it's actually everything, right?
Actually,
it's me and you against the world,
yeah,
right?
That's how our attitude is.
And God backs up our unity. And there are things that sometimes I feel like God wants us to make this investment. But if you're like, I don't think so.
No, there's nothing that you do that you don't run by me.
Yeah. Right? Like what I'm saying is...
And not for permission.
Yeah.
Like you're not running it by me so then I can give you permission to do it. It's more of... Are we in agreement?
Are we in sync in this?
Are we in sync in this?
Yeah.
And talking and discussion over it. Like you don't really do anything without talking to me about it.
The point that I was also trying to make though is that no matter how much conviction I have about something, if I'm not in sync with you, we don't do it.
I appreciate the fact that you don't try to convince me either.
Yeah, it could be the best opportunity of our lifetime.
Yes.
If we're not in sync, oh well.
Because, your wife can hear the Holy Spirit.
Of course. And it's better to be united than actually pursue the best opportunity and not be united, right?
Yeah, I mean, that prevents us from getting into arguments later on. Like, I told you shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
And that even if we're in unity and we make a silly mistake, we're in it together.
Right.
We're in this together.
Yeah.
I think that's what I really like about us.
How do we so what are some of the practical things we do about with money when it comes to money?
Well, we each play a role.
Yeah, we talked about that.
And I think it's important that there is some psychology to this.
Yeah,
Because when we first got married, I think we got married and we were combining our finances,
yeah,
right? It wasn't my account, your account. I actually closed my account and jumped onto your account.
yep,
And so my paychecks and everything is coming out from the same account. And I let you fully have control and access and visibility
yeah,
into everything. And I think you were trying to get your act together and you didn't want to fail me. See, fear of failure sometimes is helpful. If you haven't checked out our episode on fear of failure, we'll link
Episode
it right
number 6.
here.
Yep.
Okay. And let's see. What was I going to say? Yeah, I gave you the whole, there wasn't anything hidden. You knew everything.
Yeah.
And so here it is. Here's my debt. This is what I make. We were very honest and transparent.
Yeah, and we have a
about
one dream, one team mentality about this.
Mm-hmm.
We have united accounts. All the accounts are united, right? There's no separate accounts. We tackle debt all together, right? So that way we can prioritize as a family.
It's not your debt, my debt.
Yeah, and then we also have dream boards, and we'll talk about dream today. But like the kids get involved in it, right? They're like, Noah's like, well, Dad, are you still trying to pay that off? Because I kind of want this, and I'm like, no, we as a family are going to pay this off first, right? And so we tackle it as a family, and it's actually very practical. Like we do a budget every month. We do a
Financial meeting.
We do a financial meeting. You and I do.
Yeah.
Right. And we huddle up. We talk. We talk about what we spent more on than we should have last month.
Yeah. This is when him seeking the truth comes out.
Yeah. A lot of all the statements.
Not that I'm hiding anything from
Yes.
you.
What's funny is, just as on a side note, we in our investments we sometimes look at other companies and we value them. The best thing to do is to actually look at their financials. All the truth comes out, because there's a story and a message behind all the numbers. But long story short is we do the same thing with our finances, and we look at it and we go, okay, what happened?
Yeah. Do you want to go into how it's in the little things?
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. So what Vian is really referring to is what we have found out in finances when we do our budget. We have learned that it's really the little things that we disregard, and that's where the behavior that has built up that hinders your financial well-being is really underneath those things. What I mean by that is it's like going to Starbucks and buying a $5 cup of coffee. And then, you had to buy that banana nut bread. I use this example with my students at the Bible college all the time. And then on your way out, they were doing a $2 or whatever raffle, and it just
It's just $2.
It's just $2. It's just $3. It's just $5. And you look at that day, you had $13 in leakage, money that leaked out of your budget that you never budgeted for. And then you look at it over a month, and it happened 7 times. That's almost $100. And then you look at it over a year, that's $1,200. And then if you're credit carding it, then you're essentially adding up interest to that.
Yeah.
Right? So it really hinders your progress when it comes to finances.
It's definitely in the little things.
It's definitely in the little things. And here's the amazing part. In the Bible, right? And now there's a faith part to this. In the Bible, Jesus had roughly around 38 parables that he spoke. Okay? There were 38 parables. Parables are real life stories that teach a spiritual significance, a teaching of God per se, right? Almost half of them, less than half, was about money. It was about money and wealth. So Jesus spoke a lot about money and wealth. Okay, altogether in the Bible, there's more than 2,000 references to money and wealth that God has. We know our God as limitless, right? He's got massive dreams, and he's got massive dreams for each and every one of us. And it takes money to finance those dreams. But what we are really talking about here is stewardship, right? Because practical stewardship is really how you learn to be able to manage the more that he has for us.
Yeah, and I think when we are stewarding our finances, we have this mentality like that the money is not our identity. It's
Yeah.
not, oh, how wealthy or how broke I am. It's not our identity. We actually view finances as a resource,
That's
as a
right.
tool,
As a tool.
And so it doesn't, I think in relationships that failed regarding finances, it's you're irresponsible because you're not stewarding your money well or anything like or something like that. There's this attack to your character as you're irresponsible, you're not a good person, you're, whatever that is that's associated to your identity with money. But we actually see money and finances as just an external thing that is a tool and a resource to help us achieve our goals and our dreams and
That's
do
right.
what we want to do.
And goals.
It's not who we are.
No.
Because
And
going back to like our worth is in the Lord, not in the money.
no, and it's really important. This is like no better time than this to mention this. In the book of Matthew, chapter 6, verse 24, it is very clear. God says that you cannot have two masters, right? You cannot attach yourself, or you cannot find your identity, or you cannot rely on God and money at the same time. He specifically mentions money. Right? And what he's really saying is that money is simply a tool. It's a resource. It is a part of our everyday life because it has become the currency of exchange,
Of course,
right?
yeah.
Without money, it was a barter system. But now that there's money, we have to use money to buy a house, to
Buy
take
food.
care of your family, buy food, whatever it is. And what God is really saying is that do not lose perspective, right? Keep God in the forefront and use money as a tool, right? And if you steward it properly, then I'll give you more. I'll give you ability in the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28. I love this scripture because it really puts everything in reference point. He says that don't forget where this source is because
He gives you the ability
he gave me the ability to breathe, to have hands, to have cognitive discernment, to be able to think,
to make wealth.
to make wealth, to make decisions, to raise my family, to leave a legacy for my children. All these things are desires that he puts inside of us. They are not there by accident, right? And he even said it like, what good father or what man on earth that has sinned like me has gives good gifts, because we love giving good gifts to our children. Like we
Yeah.
plan it, we look it up, we research it, right? And he's like, I'm going to give you better gifts because I'm from heaven. I'm perfect.
Yeah.
And that's what God says. So the point is we have to keep money in the right place in our hearts.
Yeah. So we have let's go back to like the roles.
Yeah.
The role that we play, and I think it's different with every couple, is you find your strength and you identify that is the role that you want to stick with.
Yeah.
You're very good with numbers. I am very good at spending.
So I keep track of all the spending.
Yes. So I spend and he tracks. No.
Yeah.
No, there's certain things.
No, we actually share it, right?
Yeah,
you,
we do.
You track groceries.
I track groceries. I used to track eating out, but I failed so bad that he took over.
Take it back. It was an executive decision.
He's like, you suck at tracking eating out, so I'm just gonna track.
We're just,
that.
and the
Second.
what do we mean by tracking? So we have a budget that we follow, and
Can you tell them like the practicality of what
so
works for
our
us?
budget is, if you can just conceptually think about this, our budget is you make, let's say, $10. Our budget says that you got to spend less than 10, right? That is the ultimate, like that is what it is, right? And
Yeah.
if you're putting things on debt, it cannot still be more than you make, meaning that debt is a tool and it's not something that is used as a means of getting by. Now, I know not everyone is at that level, but reality is that's not God's best. God's best states that we're supposed to be lenders, meaning that we don't really take debt on unless it's for use. It's for tool, like it's for a house that you would use as an investment or something like that.
Yes. And I think what's also different is a lot of couples actually have separate bank accounts.
Yeah.
And we don't. So when we physically have the same bank account, we mentally together with unity know that this is ours.
Yep.
Not this is mine, this is yours. But this is ours.
Yep.
And so it forces us to actually work together as a team.
Yep.
And not have the mentality of like the physical mentality of separate accounts.
It also prevents the enemy from coming into our relationship.
Yeah.
It creates such a good guard for us because it's like one account and there's no reason for us to have any disagreements about something. We can literally see it right there.
Yeah.
You know, and we know what the spending is.
So what do we do if somebody goes over budget? Or what do you do to me when I go over budget?
Well, I bring the truth, right?
He does bring the truth.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
okay, the budget was 500 and we spent 700.
Yeah.
Right? I actually have learned to wait a little bit. So I'll go a couple of months,
Wait,
And
for
s-
what? Collect data
collect more data, have more evidence.
and bring it
but-
back to me?
Yeah, but more importantly, is it a one-time blip or is it a consistent thing? You know, we noticed this in our groceries in the last 2 years, right?
Yeah.
And we can go on and on about groceries, but we realized that we just had to increase our grocery budget,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It was
the
just
kids eat a lot.
kids eat a lot, and you know, cost of goods, inflation, all these things have just increased the cost of groceries in our home, cost of a lot of things in our home, and we just had to increase that budget, and we worked together to cut other things.
We do, and we don't actually get it perfectly. I go over my budget all the time, right? And
Yeah.
and you actually
I think you were good on March.
my birthday.
I don't know how that. I must have spent the money from the family account.
No, I think there is a piece of, well, you give me a lot of grace. Like I don't ever feel like, oh my gosh, I'm over the budget now. He's gonna drill me for like going over the budget. I'm not scared.
Yeah.
Like if I go over budget, I would tell you, just a heads up, I kind of went over budget, right?
Yeah.
And you maybe you have cushion in our budget or something because you give me a lot of grace.
I don't have a lot of
you're-
cushion, but I have a lot more grace.
Because grace covers it. His grace is
cover-
sufficient.
The Bible states that His grace is sufficient, is what Van is quoting.
Yes.
And he has been very graceful in providing us a lot of ideas. Over the years, I have noticed that he has just simply given us a lot of ideas to accumulate wealth. And I just wanna emphasize what part of our budget creates that opportunity. We give. Okay, two things that we do in our budget that I didn't do before I was a believer in God, a believer of Jesus. One is we give a certain percentage of our income every month, right? And give means we put it to charity, we donate, and we really to give it to God's causes, things that we believe in, things that we think He is putting in our hearts to give towards, right? And another big piece is, and the spiritual significance of that is, in Scripture and in the Bible, in Luke 6:38, Jesus said, "Give, and it will be given to you." It's like the concept of sowing seed. When you sow seed in the ground, a tree comes out, and the tree gives you a lot more fruit. Seed is much smaller than the size of the fruit. Inside the fruit is more seed. And that's how spiritually it works. When you give, the Lord gives you an opportunity to get more. And it describes how He gives it. He gives it, without any sorrow. He gives it more than we can handle. But more importantly, giving is part of our everyday budget. and savings is a bill. That's something I had to learn. Like, we say savings, our saving account is like a bill. We pay that bill every month. It comes first. It's for our kids, it's for their education, their future, whatever.
I think another big part is responsibility.
Yeah.
Like our attitude with when we are taking on that role, whatever that role may look like in your marriage or in your relationship, is I take responsibility when something happens.
Yeah.
You know, when I overspend. You don't though. You seem to have like you never have a budget. You just Do you want to elaborate on why you don't have a budget?
On podcasts? That's because I run everything.
Yes. I mean, you plan ahead.
Yeah.
You plan
that's right.
ahead. You don't have like a monthly budget for certain things, but you plan ahead. Like this is the time you're going to do your big shopping spree or something.
That's right. But keeping in mind the concepts we said, like we don't spend more than we make, right? We budget for things ahead of time. And then the final point that I want to bring us to is dreaming, right? Because a lot of people will have, like, let's say it's to buy a home, and they will essentially bring their dream down to their budget. We actually do the opposite, right? We bring our budget to the dream. Well, not that I'm saying that we spend more than we should. What I'm saying is we know it's a dream, and we stretch ourselves, and we actually get to a point where we can afford the dream. And we just believe that God's going to help us accomplish it.
Yeah, and those desires come from Him.
Yeah, He says, I'll give you the desires of your heart.
Yes, the desires come from Him. And so if He gives you that desire, He'll also provide you the resources to get there.
In His word, the Bible says that that's what He does. I have given you the ability to do this.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about dreaming? How do we dream?
I love dreaming because, when we dream, we're actually making connections. We're making those our neural pathways fire up, okay, in the brain. And so the more you dream, even though it's like a fantasy, you are still creating those neural pathways.
Yeah.
And even if you don't believe it, it helps if you do. But if you, over time, those pathways get stronger and it gets deeper.
Yeah.
And those dreams feels a bit more real to you. Like the more you dream about it, the more you think about it, it makes stronger connections in the brain, and then it feels more possible.
It's also writing it down.
Yeah, writing it down. You're seeing it every day. Seeing it every day create those stronger neural pathways.
There was a statistic that came out about, I think 5-10 years ago, and it was that people that write their dreams down, more than 80% actually accomplish, over 90% of their goals just because they wrote it down.
Just because, and the thing is, like when you write it down, you look at it.
Yeah.
When you look at it, it reminds you to think about it.
Yeah.
And when you think about it, then you start believing it, and then you start feeling more confident.
That's right.
About this dream, and then it builds your faith.
That's right.
Especially if you're relying it on God,
That's
not
right.
yourself, right? I mean, you could. There's plenty of people that rely on themselves that have achieved their dreams,
Right.
but then it's their work,
Yeah.
and they have to work really hard.
But it's okay. The point that I want to make is, if you are still following your desire and you're dreaming, the Lord has given you the ability to accomplish these things.
He does, and it's a built-in system that is in our brain.
Yeah.
Right. So the more we dream, the more we believe.
That's
the more
right.
we believe, the more we have faith. The
That's
more we
right.
have faith, the more God brings it to
Yeah.
us through
Yeah.
faith.
And for practically, what we also do is we write our dreams down. We talk about it at the beginning of the year, and then we
Also try to keep that dream alive.
try.
We
Yes.
walk it. Do you
We walk.
remember? Sorry. I love dreaming.
Yeah.
Because you can escape from reality and then you can like dream.
Live in La La Land. Yeah.
Yes.
So
But do you remember our first home?
yeah. You
Yeah.
should tell them what you did. But just one practical aspect I want to say before we talk about that, and we'll end with that, is we actually also put our dreams on our vision board that we look at every day
Yeah.
in our bedroom, and we also have a promise from the Bible
Yeah.
about that dream. So that way it's very tangible for us. Like we know that this is a promise.
It's
This
also backed up.
yeah. And
by
we
him.
constantly revisit it because it's like we don't want to pursue something that we don't truly believe in. Right? Like it was kind of like when I was, I'm believing for an RV, right? I'm like really dreaming about an RV, and there was a different one, and then that kind of changed, but I still am dreaming for one. And right, like it changes, the dream changes, but essentially like it started with something on the board.
Sometimes it starts small, but then it just
Yeah.
grows.
That's right.
And I would give, try to give yourself permission to actually not be afraid of being disappointed.
Yeah.
When you're like, oh, I don't want to dream too big because I'm going to be disappointed. That's another fear of being disappointed, And so we don't want to get fear in the way. If you haven't visited our fear, check out that episode. But
Episode number 6.
episode number 6, yeah. And we want to take the roof off and really fully jump in and dream, and not be afraid to do that.
Yeah, I think in why don't you tell them about how we used to walk that community where we
Yeah.
wanted to buy a home?
It was so we'll get in, I don't know. Well, so we got married, and then we're in a lot of debt because we credit card our entire wedding. And but anyways, but after we got married, I wanted a house. I wanted a home. And we were living in Bay Area, and it was really hard, like being a newlywed couple and just getting settled into our careers. We found this community, and we would walk there every weekend. Like, what do you want to do today? This was before kids. And so, what do we want to do today? I was like, let's go walk that community. And we would take the dogs, we'll walk that community. We walk it so much the neighbors thought that we were actually living there, and we're like 40 minutes away from that community. And we would drive there and walk, and we would dream, and we would just imagine, this is where we're going to take our walks. This is where we're going to take the dogs. This is where, like, the imagination is part of strengthening those neural pathways. And at the same time, we started to give. We learned about tithing and giving, and planting seeds. And so then within 2 years, I love our very early beginnings, because we didn't go and have fancy dinner dates. Our date was on Thursday. We take the dog, we walk around this little plaza that had a small little boba shop that's like $5 for popcorn, chicken, and a boba. And that was our date.
Good old days.
Yeah, that was our date. We try to save everything to pay off the debt.
Yeah.
And within 2 years, we paid off all our debt and saved money for a house and moved into that community while giving and tithing. And so,
Yeah, and just for the audience sake, tithing means tenth in the Bible, and that what that really means is setting aside a certain percentage is what I talked about earlier. We set aside a certain percentage. The Bible recommends 10% to give. Right now, does God love you less if you don't? Absolutely not. But there's a spiritual significance to that, because when you give, you actually tap into the increase or any type of essentially blessing that the Lord has for you, right?
Yeah.
Because really what you're doing is you're promoting what God wants to promote. right? In our giving, what we're really doing is saying, God, you come first. I rely on you. And this is a token. I'm physically putting my money towards what I believe in, and I'm going to rely on you. And that reliance is what he blesses.
Yes. Yeah. What else did I have to say? Did you have anything else to say?
No, I just want to say that there was this one point where I started taking the train from that new community before I lived there, just so that I would know how it would feel like when I moved there.
Yeah.
That's how ingrained it became inside of us.
And the thing, and God always gives it a like, there's always a cherry on top.
Yeah.
Because do you remember there in that community there were 3 price range. We first started off at the lowest price range because we thought maybe this is what we can potentially afford.
And that was beyond reach for us.
And it was beyond reach for us. And then that was all sold out. So we're like, okay, then we start dreaming about this in the second price range. And
and that sold out the day we got approved for.
We got approved, but I had a vision, and I'll save that for another time.
Yeah.
But I had a vision for that day. But we're gonna go with the second price range, and the sales office was so sad for us because they knew we've been walking and dreaming to live in that community.
They were.
And they told us that, okay, somebody decided to buy it cash that day, the day that we were so
The
ready.
last one.
The very last unit, and
Yep.
we wanted the model home, right? And somebody bought it cash. And then we're like, okay, well, I guess we have to go to the third price range, which is the highest price range. And Rahul goes, babe, mathematically, this is not going to work out. And I go, well, let's go anyways. Like, we're here. Like, let's just do it.
Yeah, I was so sad.
And he was sad. He was so sure that they were going to back out or something. But we went into
We bought the most expensive one.
we bought the most expensive one. And
That's how our
yeah,
first one was born.
that was our first home.
First
Yeah.
home. Our oldest one was born there.
Yeah.
And so dreams come true, right? And
Yeah.
and just if you have not, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna add something. Like, we don't have to do it perfectly. Even with the stewarding, we're not looking for perfection. We're just looking for movement in the right direction. Because there were moments where, we were in a young adults, youth leaders at that time, and every Thursday night, our friend Alicia, if you're listening, you would make us go to In-N-Out. And Rahul was like, I'm trying to save money.
I know. We would share back then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now we stopped sharing.
Yes, yes. So,
Yes.
all right, well, let me close. If handling finance in your marriage is a struggle, I would encourage you and your partner to sit down and discuss about your attitude about your finances and your roles and responsibility, your structure, and how you guys are handling finances. And then begin to dream together, begin to really take that roof off. And it's just a moment to fantasize on what it would look like if money was not an object, and it's a resource for you, a tool for you to achieve your dreams. And what are those? How do those look like?
And I would add that do not let the practical side of things get too far away. It's really important to look at the details of your spending, because behind it you will learn something, and an opportunity to correct will come. But you have to look at it to do that. You have to face the truth.
Yes.
And with that, thanks for joining us. If you liked what you saw, please subscribe and share. Thank you for joining the Pillay podcast.